Hello friends, welcome to Intuites.
Let's begin the class.
Let me know if you're able to see my screen. So today we'll start quite interesting and very important thing in object-oriented programming. Okay, so why this is important? Two things we need to ask. The question is why this is important. Second is why to use and how to use. Here are the three questions we need to ask, because normally if you consider the normal functions, we are writing the function, inside that we are writing the block of codes and we are executing, right? That is one way to write the Python code. That is called the traditional method. We can say that is called a procedural programming, procedural way of writing the codes. Okay. So, but when things are getting more complex, right? So we should follow a certain rule, like a certain way of writing the code. That is one of the writing code is called the OOPS. So how to write when to, I'll let you know. But another way of writing the Python code is why this is important. We'll come to that. Why to use, how to use. We'll get the answer immediately. No worries. So before jumping into the concept of the OOPS, so here I'm writing one statement is that is quite important. You need to understand this point is that in Python, variables are object from specific class. What does it mean here? You understand? So here, suppose I'm saying x equals to 10, right? I'm saying print type of x. Okay. What will be the type of x here?
Integer.
So here if you see, it's a class integer. You see, it's not an integer, it's a integer class. What is class? All these things we'll discuss. But it is a class. So x is an object of integer class. You can say that. Okay. So it's something like we have a framework. From there, we are creating an object. Next, suppose the same thing if I change it here, x equals to, let's take my name. Then it will give you string, class registry. See, class registry. Okay. Suppose I'm giving here class equals to, let's take 10, 20, 30, 40. Then what will be print? What shall we
Class
give
of
you?
list.
List. So it's a class of list. So now it's a class of list. So if I say now this one, then it will be
Pupils.
class as a tuples. So here everything is class and everything is object. Okay. Now from now onwards, whenever you can say that variable is equals to an object, you need to say what is object we will discuss, but variable is an object of a different class. Everything in Python is a class and object only. So variable is an object as well. Okay. This first point we should be very much clear on this. Fine. Now let's understand what exactly a class and what is an object. So basically, class means what? Actually, this is a framework. This is a framework or the what you call the framework. Yeah, this is a framework. So let's compare with the real-time example. Let's take our human body as a framework. So let's take say class human. Okay. So in a suppose human body is a framework or the total structure of our body is a framework, right? So here we should have some properties, some actions, two things can be performed, right? So in a human body, so I understand human body have some behaviors and actions, right? Or I can say this is behavior of the parts, actions slash whatever. So if I ask you what are the different parts you have behaviors, so we have all the things, right? So let's take we have eyes, we have our hand, right? Our legs, all the things are available, right? So just think like this is a framework and these are the object of that class. So if I say I is defining something on that class, correct? Are you following me properly? Guys, you're there?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So just think like this is an integer and these are x, these are y, and these are z. Same thing. So integer is a framework of the class and x are the different object of that particular class. Okay, so this is already a defined class. When you install your Python, it's already defined, but these are the things we are defined. So we'll see that. But just try and understand the eyes, your hand, and then your legs. All these things are your different behaviors or different parts of the class. And what are the actions I have? My heartbeat is an action, so it should be function, right? My blood pressure, right? Walking, BMI, all these are different actions, right? So this is the actions or the procedures, whatever we can say, these are the parts, whereas these are the different behaviors or the parts of the body. Okay, so these are the things. Understand? You got the point? What is the clarity? What is a class and what is an object? Got the point? Any questions? We are good, at least up to now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's try and understand few things. Suppose I have a list and if I put x dot, so whatever the things are coming, it is related to list only, right? It is not related to string, correct? What the copy, remove, append, pop, clear, extend, reverse, count, all these things, right? This is list methods only, right?
Yes.
Yes or no? Okay.
Yes, sir.
If I write x equals to, now if I put x dot, what is this method, sir?
String
String.
methods.
String methods. Okay. So if I say x dot upper and if I say print, I'll get the upper methods. Okay. What I'll do now, I will say x equals to 10, sorry, x equals to, let's take, uh, like this, I'm taking a, comma, b, and x dot upper. Okay. Will this work? What do you think?
Mm, no.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, or it will work?
Yes.
It's given an
Yes.
error.
Yeah.
Okay. So that error is most important because upper method is not a list method. It's a string method. And that's what I want to say. List object has no attribute called upper. This statement is very important. So now X is a object of your list class. List class don't have any upper method. String object can have the upper method. Okay. So here the point is whichever object you created of that class, that object only can access those methods. If it is a list object, that list object can access only the list methods. If the object is a string method, then it will access the string methods, not the other methods. So you understand this point? So that object can only access. Try and understand. This is very much important. If this was the alternate case, any object can access anything. Suppose I can create an object, you can access list or list methods, string methods, integer methods, boolean methods, everything is possible. Then this will make some clumsiness, right? We will not able to understand from that then what is list, which are the method is list method, which is string methods. We will not able to know that if you do like that, and that is not a good idea to do that. So this kind of program, whatever. So you understand that whenever I'm creating a list object, and if I put in x dot, and I'm automatically getting all the methods of that list. Somebody defined this, right? I understand there's this, we didn't define all these things. But somehow when this Python got developed, the list got developed, somebody defined it, right? So they created a list class. Inside the list class, all these methods are defined. Copy, remove, all these things. And when we create an object of that class, we are able to access it. So that framework, the list class framework, whatever I'm calling it, that class list, inside that all the methods are there. That is overall is called a class. And from here, you want to access the method of that list, then you are creating an object and access it. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Getting the point?
Yep.
Overall idea is there. Okay. So this is one way to write it. So where exactly the oops fits? Okay. So whenever you are creating a real-time application, suppose let's take you are working for a ATM application, or suppose banking system, or even you are creating a website, okay, or normal way also. Normal traditional way you are writing the like the ETL methodology or the normal data loading, all these things you also. We can have the way of writing we can do in a woods. Okay, so this is a good concept. We should understand it because maybe some companies they will not go with this because their logic is not that much of complex. They can go the traditional way, but things we should know that how you can work with the object-oriented way as well in Python. Okay. So basically, in any programming language, there are six parts to an OOPS concept that we need to understand. If you understand these six areas, we are good with this. Okay. So what are the different six parts are there? First is called your object that I of explained what is an object. Second is class. Third is polymorphism. Polymorphism. We'll discuss one by one everything. Then encapsulation. Then your inheritance. Sixth one is called your abstraction. The six are the core concept or the core principles of any object-oriented programming. Okay, whether that's being used in Java, C++, Java, or the same concept is being used in Python. So all these six concepts you need to understand. So now I explain you two things, the object and class, which is the main thing. From there only all these things will be derived. Okay. So the most important thing in a OOPS programming is called the class and object. Okay. Class is a framework where you can define the behaviors, the methods, all these things. And when you want to access that member, you need to create an object of that class and access it, just like the list object. Make sense the first point? Any questions up to here? I'm just going a theoretical way because that is very
Yes,
much important.
yes, Samir.
Go ahead.
By my understand, class is collection of related methods, and I
Mhm.
just want to know. So we don't define anything like int or string anything,
No.
but we have the definition in class. Like
Yes,
tuple is
because
yeah,
yeah, because whenever you are that's what that those are inbuilt class
yeah,
in Python. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you are saying that this is an object equals to, and when you are putting denoted with a square bracket, this understand this is a list
Yes. So
automatically.
we have
Okay.
definition for this also in class, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That is for the inbuilt. But when you define yourself, we need to define the skeletons. The framework we need to define what exactly it is all about, what does this contains, all these things we need to define. From there, we need to create the object, and then we need to do this, all these things. Okay.
Okay, Sandhya, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So now let's go. So basically, a class is having two things. One class or any class, whatever your class is creating, will have two things. First is called the data or attribute, or that behavior, whatever I was saying that. Okay. Second is called your functions slash methods. So I will explain you what is the difference between a function and methods. We'll see this. So let's first understand the data and attributes. That's what I'm saying. Suppose you went to an like a, let's say, ATM machine. Okay, you want to withdraw some money. Just think like that. You are ATM is a class, complete class, the framework. And what are the attributes of an ATM? What are the data we are getting? Can somebody identify that? Go ahead, guys. A simple question only. If you are going to an ATM, or let's say we are going to a supermarket, what are the data or the attributes of the supermarket?
Grocery money.
Uh,
Grocery money.
mhm. Else? What else?
Product name, product ID,
Those are the data. Okay. And what are the functional methods? What are the different actions you are performing on the superstore?
shopping, checking out.
Mhm.
Shipping.
Pay the bill, right? So all these things are part of the methods of the actions and different data we have. Now we are correlating the things are good. Okay. So now it's the same way. This is all about that. The main thing, data or attribute, you can understand. What exactly a function and what is a methods? Okay. What is a function and what is a method? This question, I think I asked in the interview like 4 to 5 times already. Very simple answer, but things are people will make it critical. Okay. So what is the function and what is the methods? Functions you know, like how to define the function. You say def, then the function name, then inside that the parameters, then you are defining the logic. Normal function. What is the method exactly? The methods is all. So method is actually a function written inside the class. So whenever any function is written inside the class, then that is called the methods. It is actually a function, but in a generic way, we'll say this is called the methods. Okay. So let me give an example here. So suppose I say x equals to this, and I'm saying print length of x. What will be my output?
5.
So for this, the length function, did I create anything, something like, did I use like this x dot length, something I used? No, right? I didn't use. I say length of x. Correct? Directly it is saying that the length of the string. So to use the length function, I don't require any object to access this length. If I want to use any append method or any method of the string, then I have to say object dot, then I can use the upper. I can't do directly like this, right? Upper print upper x. I can do it. It's not possible because it is inside the class of the string. This upper is a method inside the string, and whereas the length is a generic function, can be used without any object of any of the class. Length is a function to get the length of the string. So the length is here is a functions, and the upper is called a methods, which is defined inside the string class. Does that make sense? to you? Are you good on this? We're good?
Yes. Yes. But when we are selecting x, we are getting len also as a method, right? X dot len.
Sorry,
So
come again.
it's coming. Yeah, and no, when we are selecting the method by using x, we are getting len.
But it will be len of x. Will never in object.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
If you write like this also, it will take len of x only, because len is a generic function. It's not specific to any class.
Yeah, Samir. Okay, got
Okay.
it. Thank
So now you have an understanding of what is a function and what is a method. Internally, both are same. Logically, if you ask me in the question, both are same. But only the difference is methods. When the same function is defined inside a class, then what happens? That object of that class only can access that function or method. That's why it is called the methods. And whereas the generic one, anybody can access, that is called a function. Okay, make sense? All right. Now you got the point. Second, so there are some naming rules while defining the class and object. There is no specification we can follow this way, but in a what do you call, in a project or in a real-time scenario when you are working on a project, please do follow the same naming convention for your class and object. That will be good, and you will follow. You will get the code like this only in real time. As well. Okay. The first is class name should be in Pascal case. What do you mean by Pascal case? You know, anybody knows it or they don't know?
you. No, no.
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay. So the Pascal case is this. Each and every word of the word letter will be on caps. So if we say THIS this, I'm putting T as a capital. And I was suppose after that I want to write is. So the I would be capital again. This is then Pascal CAS. So if you see each word of the first letter, I'm saying capital. So this is called a Pascal case. Got it? Make sense?
It's camel also, Samir. It's like
Uh,
camel. Yeah.
no, it's not camel. Camel case is this.
Okay.
Camel case is first letter will be small. Then it's correct. That's correct. This is the camel case. This is the only difference between a Pascal and a camel case. The first letter with this difference. Okay. Third. We are not discussing the camel case, but I just kept it. Okay. Now, and the functions or the methods. Your functions or methods. Now, if I say methods, you to understand functions and methods equally same, but methods are defined inside the class. And this will be in snake case. Do you know snake case is what?
No.
Underscore. Whenever two words are interrelated with the underscore, that is called a snake case. Okay, two words are interrelated with the underscore. So just follow this naming principle whenever you are defining the class. Just for a practice from now onwards, that when you fill up a what do you call real-time project, when you get into that, you will understand that okay, yeah, this is the way I should write it. Okay, fine.
That P and C should also be in caps, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. Okay, so now this is about this. Now what you understand what is object, sorry, class, and what is an object? Object is instance of class. Very formal definition. So here, if we say X is an object of the instance of string class, right? So that's an object. So now, from now onwards, for you at least, the object and the variable should be same. If I say variable is an object, if I say object is a variable, correct? Does that make sense?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Because both are same. Because there is no variable, there is nothing. Because in Python, everything is class and object. Okay, on that sense. Now, how to create your object here? Okay. Actually, normally, when you are creating the object, we are saying the object equals to class like this. When you this is for user defined one. We'll see how to create the class and all. But when you define your own class and you want to create an object, you say object equals to the class name, like this in a bracket. Okay, but this is the normal way when you are defining the user defined. But when for the inbuilt class, which is called uh, we have Python have the flexibility. Sorry, let me write the full statement. For inbuilt class, Python provides flexibility of object literals. What does that mean? If you see here, we are saying x equals to 10, 20, so here x is an object of the list class, right? But I told you that it should be x equals to the class name and with a bracket in case of the normal function. But for the built-in class, we are not defining like that. We are saying that x equals to 10, 20, 30. It's automatically taking it as a class object of the list class. Okay. But still, this I can write the traditional way as well. All right. I will say like this. That's a list. Now, if I write x is a object of the list class, correct? What about what I'm trying to say here? This is the way. Object equals to just exactly the same. Object equals to your class. Class is a list and inside that I'm passing. Okay, got a point?
Yes, sir.
And even we can write something like x equals to string also. So x is an object of your string. Now if you put x dot, then you will get all the method of the string. This is also one another way. But for the inbuilt classes, which are already inbuilt to the Python, we have the flexibility to define like this. We can directly assign the values to the object and automatically it will convert this into a string or the list object, whichever notation you are giving. Okay, we are good on this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's try and understand how we can just take an let's go an example of now theory portion is sufficient enough. Now let's go to a class. Okay, and we'll see what are the things, how to write all this. Okay, so I'm on the file. I will start another file, but let's do the test file here. So first of all, whenever you are defining a class in Python, we need to use a keyword called class. Just like the def is the definition for function, class is CLASS. Okay, all right, fine. Now let's take I'm defining a human body. Okay, so this should be Pascal case. Human, then column. This is the way we define our class. Okay, and as I told in the first definition that class, what is quick editing? Yeah, class will have the data or the attribute and function and methods. Okay, so but in class, when you are defining the data or the attribute, data is something like the variables, all these things. Okay, so that we need to define inside a special function that we need to use it. Inside that only I need to declare my variable and all. Okay, so for that I need to use, I will write it first, then I will explain you better. Okay, so I will say def. Okay, here now this is what exactly I'll come to that. This is what is this is all about, why you will write all these things. All these things I will explain you. But if you want to declare any kind of data or attribute to the class, you need to use this function def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. After that, inside that you need to put the self. What is this all about? I will see. Okay. Now I can say here, I will write like self dot and to define the variables here. Okay. So I will say I. This is one of the variable I have. Okay. Self dot I equals to, let's say I'm defining a blank now. Okay. I'll say self dot legs. Let's take right now it's a 0. So these are all the variables of or the data or the attributes of your class. Okay, making sense? You leave it this part, the second line, why it is being used, but that will be a definite case. You need to use it. Why it will be used, I'll come to that. But when you are defining any kind of variable inside the class, you need to use this. Okay. Second, and to define the functions. So what are the methods and all. So I will define a function here. So that's the traditional way, the def, the function which how you define it. Okay. So suppose let's take uh, calculate your blood pressure. Okay. So this is one of the methods inside the human body class. So you can define different methods, and whenever defining any variable, it should be like this. Okay. Now, one thing, this question is not related to class, not related to anything. I think you overall revise your Python. I want to ask one question. This is a function, normal function, and I don't want to write the code right now. Okay. Question is inside the methods or inside this part of the methods I'm defining. I don't want to write the code right now. But if I leave
Pass,
like this, what I lose? Yeah, go ahead.
pass, pass.
Pass. Exactly. If I don't want to define anything right now, I can use the pass because I don't want to make it an error. Okay. Now, but if I execute this, I will not get any error. So class is defined. Now let's try and understand each and every part of the right. I have written 6 lines of code. All the lines we need to understand what exactly it's all about. Make sense? The first part. This is very simple. This is a class. And this is the class name. Okay. This is an important topic actually. It is actually if you are coming, anybody is coming from Java or C++, or anybody knows at least. It's not compulsory. I'm saying if somebody knows it. Anybody
Yeah, I
knows?
studied in college, but yeah, after that I don't have experience
Okay.
in
Anybody
Java.
else? Anybody else? No, it's not. It's not mandatory. I'm just asking. Okay.
We just studied in
So you
college. Yeah.
okay? That's fine. So you heard about a constructor in Java, or C, it is there in C++ as well. It is actually a constructor. Okay. What is a constructor here? Constructor is a special function which will initialize when object created. I'll explain you. Don't worry. Okay. In a first glance, this kind of programming method it will confuse you, but this is your future. Okay. So the constructor, this is a constructor which is special function which will initialize when object got created. Let me explain what it's all about. Okay. So instead of writing all the variables here inside, I will say print, say my name is, I'm just printing a statement here. That's it. Okay. I'm creating a function and inside that this is just a, I'll later I write this code at all. Okay. Now let me save this file. It's already saved. Now there's a good way is to use it is that this whatever the class I have defined, I can access outside of any file. So this file is defined. Inside this file, I have defined my class human body. This human body class I can use anywhere in the class in the file. Okay. So let's go to another file. Let's say I have I think test one. Yes, I will open the test one file. Here I want to use this methods, this human body methods, all these things I want to access inside that. That's the way you are doing also, right? Because suppose you are using directly the list. So I'm saying x equals to, so this is a method. So it's a string class. You are using anywhere, any of the file you are using it, right? Correct? List also you are using anywhere. There is no restriction that I will use on this file only specifically. Correct?
Yes,
Are you getting the point? The same way, I have defined something on my one of the file. I created already. I want to access it now. Anywhere I want to access it. So that is the beauty of your oops, the object. Okay. So how to use it? How you are importing the modules in Python? Suppose I want to use a func tools. I explained the func tools in the reduce method. How you are using that? Suppose I want to use the reduce method in Python. How to use it? The higher order function reduce. Suppose in one other example, I have used the tuple versus list comparison for the space comparison, for the memory comparison. What I used there?
time in function,
Hmm?
time function,
Time
time,
function.
time.
To use
Yeah.
to use that time function, what I used?
We just import the time function.
Correct. Right, exactly. So I'm using import, right? Import time it. Then only I can use the function or the available things inside this. Correct? So like that, the same thing applies here as well. So if I want to use any methods or anything from this class, then I want to import it first. Okay. So here I want to use from whatever the file name I have. Which file name I have defined the class? TEST, T capital. That is my package now. So from test import human body. See, human body is a package. Got the point? The first part is clear. Following Pop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as I told you in the first line is done. Now this part is I told you that this is a constructor. Don't about take the name. It's not a very big thing. It's just a special function actually, which will initialize when object got created. Okay. When you create a object of this class, automatically saying that this will be initialized. Initialized in a sense, if there's the case, when I create an object of this class, automatically my print should be executed. Correct? That's the way I'm expecting the output. Let's see. Now what I will say. How to create an object, I told you this is the syntax of a normal inbuilt function. Object equals to your class. Right? So I say after this x equals to human body. This is the way you are creating the object. This is an object of the human body class. All right, makes sense. That is the point.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So now, if I say this is the function which will initialize when the object got created. Now, on that note, if I run this program, I should get my name is Samir. Because when this is object got created, whatever you have written inside this, it will be auto executed. That's what it is called, your constructor. If that makes sense, this three only simple line, 2 lines code to understand your things. Is that okay? You got the point here? Or any
Yes, sir.
questions you have, guys? This part is
Yeah.
clear, the first part. Second
Yeah.
line, anybody have any doubt here?
Yeah, Samir, I don't understand initial, what's the use of that? Like it's a default function to execute the my name, that sentence, but is that the use for this initiate function?
So I'm defining x equals to 0 here. When this x will be 0? When the object of the class got created. That's it. That's what it's all about the constructor. So here what happens? Writing instead of x equals to 0, I am giving a print statement. When this print will be executed, just tell me. Anywhere you are calling that, give me the print statement. Anywhere you are doing it. When you just think like, when you have a normal, if you are able to relate your function, then you can understand this. You have a function, normal function. Debate about the class and all. You define a normal function def sum of two number x, y, x plus y.
Eh,
When that function will execute and when that
when we,
x and y will be assigned some value. When you call it, right? When
yes,
you are calling the function, there you are passing 10, 20, and 10 will be the x and 20 will be the y. Correct?
yes,
Got it the point? But here, the same thing, if I talked about this is a function, and inside that I'm printing. Am I calling this function anywhere in this class? No, I'm not
no,
calling it. But when I'm creating an object of that class, automatically that statement is executing for me. And I'm getting the output. What does it mean? So whatever you are defining inside this special function, this will be auto initialized when the object of that class got created. Make sense now?
Yes, Sami. So it's auto initial. Okay, so it will print the statement.
Auto. Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
here, if we define anything variable, that also will be automatically initialized when the object got created. Make sense? This is
Yes, Sami. Yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you, Sami. Yeah.
So, in that object X, the print statement is saved. I mean, when you define that, when
it's not safe. It's like whenever you are creating an object of the human body class in this case, whatever is written inside this function or
oh,
this def int, it will be in this case it's a print. It could be x dot x or variable and or something like, suppose I'm saying say self dot x equals to 5. Then when this x becomes 5, when the object got created, then only the x equals to 5. That's what I was make sense?
okay, yes, sir.
Got it, right?
Yeah,
I put it the print statement to understand the concept. Okay, it's not like the print should be there. It should be always the variables only.
okay,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
and you should be extra careful while writing this function because this is a predefined one. So the init one, it should be double underscore init, init, and it should be double underscore. We can't change this to init or something. We can't change. It should be init. This is a defined one, predefined one. It will never change to other names. And we will come to understand the self in some one or next class. We will understand the self. But whenever you are defining a variable, to use the self dot at variable equals to x, self dot y, self dot z, whatever the attributes you are defining, is a self. Okay, we'll see this. But you understand
okay,
this part is called init. This side will be double underscore, and that side will be okay. That is called a constant.
oh,
Make sense?
Yeah, Samir, some functions like we are having string comparison, we have double equal operator, and we have string compare like that. We are having like this double underscore function also we are having for equal operator. So why it's the difference? Like some functions having not having that double underscore, but some built-in functions having double underscore, right?
No, I'm not getting the question. Let's go ahead
No,
one more time.
yeah, like in string function, we are getting most of the function having not having double underscore like this one, but some functions having double underscore like this one. So what's the difference and why we are having two type of functions, built-in functions?
Sorry, Nitya, but I'm still confused. Like what your question is asking. I'm
Like
really sorry.
like if we get the variable like x or any class, we will get built-in functions, right? So some
You want
functions
to
will
say
get x dot.
like this person?
Yes,
Okay.
okay. So some functions is every function like r stripe and upper we are having like this. Some function is double underscore then equal. So I got one. I saw one equal
Okay.
function in
So
string. Yeah.
whichever, yeah, so whichever is double underscore, that are the compulsory parameter of the function. And whenever there is a self is there, we don't need to put in it. So whenever you are saying upper here, are you passing anything inside this function? No,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
self
Yes.
is, I will come to that self only. This is only the self only.
Okay.
Because it will take some time to understand. So upper, we are passing on. We are not passing anything inside this. This is called, but when you say x equals to r state, you need to pass on something inside this. Based on what? You need to put comma, space, asterisk, whatever you want to do. So this is a compulsory one parameter. So whenever there is a cell, we need to define any. We need to no need to pass in. But whenever you have something, you understand
Yeah,
this for
equal
format.
operator. Yeah, equal function like EQ. It's like having double underscore. Yeah, I'm asking why this is different from other functions.
What is equal functions? I'll come to this. Maybe I don't know. This function I didn't use. You check it. What is it all about?
Yeah, so maybe because that comparison, I checked that one. I don't get in equal operator, so I used
But
that one, but I didn't get that.
I'll check this out. I never use this. Because
Okay, so
equality operator, we have a double equal there. Okay, we'll see this.
okay, okay, so yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So you understand this point, right? Up to here, we know how to define. Just give me a second. Okay, so now let's try to. Any questions up to now you guys have?
Sumir, like you
Go ahead.
have a constructor, right? Okay, like that, there's any, what do you call it, some destructor or something, right? In the Java, some
No, we don't
concept
have.
constructor.
Oh, we
Okay,
don't have any destructor concept in Python. And
okay.
the concept also Java-wise is different. In Java and even C++, your constructor name and the class name should be same. Okay, but in this
Yeah,
case
construct.
is different. It's different. In Python,
Oh,
it's
here
very
the
different.
constructor is always like a init. Init
In
is the
in it,
constructor.
correct, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so let's understand with an example. Let's do an small thing. Let's open up a Python file and let's say mm, class. Let's do that. So I'm trying to do a class. Let's define a class. I say class name is, let's take the bank. Okay, I'm defining a class here. Now I'll say first I need to define the constructor here in itself. Okay, and inside that, so let's take I want to define some the variables. The first variable which I'm defining here, which is called the self.pin. Whenever you are going to a ATM, right, you want to pass on some pin, right, of your card and all. So first of all, it is a blank. I'm just initializing this as a this one. Then I'm saying the balance equals to 0. Okay, fine. Just to ver up to here it is. Any questions you have? So just tell me when this pin will be blank and when the balance will be 0. When this pin variable or the pin the attribute will be blank and when the balance will be 0. When? At what time? At
See,
what time?
whenever you can call, whenever you can invoke this class by default, okay, first it will
Correct.
be called a constructor.
Correct. So whenever you are like seeing this, and whenever you are creating object of this class, then this two will be assigned, initialized, auto assigned. Because make sense? Everybody's make sense here? Very
Yes,
good.
sir. Yeah.
Okay. Now I will say self dot options. What exactly this options is all about? I have not defined anything. So after my variable, I am calling one method. Calling a method. Where is that method? And define. I have initialized two variables here, self.pin, self.balance, and I'm saying after that self.options. So I'm calling a method. So that I want to define it. So that method I'm saying def options. This is a normal function. Okay. And it will take input as a self. We will understand the self. So now here I press a pass. Let's just say pass here. So whatever I will put the logic here that I am calling inside the. So when I am creating an object of the class, this to be automatically variable, and I can finally after that I am saying that call the option methods. Okay, got it or no, guys?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, now inside that options, let's try to create some. So here I'm saying I'm taking a variable here input. Okay, how to write inside that I'm saying input function. It will take an input from the user. And when I'm writing multiple lines, how to write multiple lines in Python? If I write input, I want to write in a multiple line.
By using split.
Split is a function to split it. Right? I'm writing. This is input, user input I'm talking about. Input is what is all about the user taking the user input, right? And I use the three quotes also. I explain with three quotes also. You remember?
For multiple lines.
I say please and okay. So answer first option and one create. Okay. Second and to know the balance. And basically, I'm just creating a some kind of like a menu option to you. I'm just giving a user option. You will press one, two, or whatever. Okay. So now after this, I will say if choice is equals to one, then I will say print Just printing a normal statement. We'll define this function tomorrow. I'm just doing it like this. Elif choice is equals to 2. Your balance, something like that. Your balance is. We are done. Okay. Now this execute this. We should not have any error here at least. Yes. Now I want to test this. Okay. So now what happens is whenever there's a constructor, it will be pin equals to blank, balance equals to 0. Then finally it will call the option function. And inside the option we have a choice. So we have a two choice, 1 or 2. If it's 1, it will show you create pin. If the user is put 2, then it will say your balance is 1000. Just like right now. Okay. Now I will go to here and I will say from class project import ATM. What is the name of the class? Sorry, bank ATM. So this first we need to do it. All right, makes sense. Now we are saying let's take BNK bank equals to I say bank ATM. If I run this now, what should be my output? Anything I will get it.
The print statements will come.
Just see this. Okay, this is the part I have
The,
created, and if I run this now, let's run this. See, I am getting an option. Please enter your choice. Why this part is coming for me? So now you're saying that please enter your choice. Enter 1 to create pin and enter 2 to know the balance. I have a spelling mistake there, but this is fine. So what happen is automatically what happen is when the class object got created, these two variables are auto assigned and it is calling this function. And inside this function, I have two choices. Enter 1 to create a pin and enter 2 to know the balance. This part is coming from. Is it making sense for you guys?
yes, sir.
Now on this one, if I say press 1 here, okay, enter, it's not giving any. That's fine. But we'll see this, like how we will getting this one and all the things. But you understand that how things are we should work here in the class. Exactly. You got the point.
Okay.
So we will have a methods, the variables, all these things which will be there, and we'll create it. Okay. So I'm stopping it here because we need some practice to understand this feel and good because uh, in a real project now we will get this kind of code only. We'll have a class or something, and sometimes what happen is somebody define this all these things, and in your actual codes you will say from the class project import banking, and you will come to know that what is this. So somebody has defined a class, and inside that all the methods are defined, and they are calling inside this also. Okay, in a traditional way. So it's something like when you understand the pandas also. So it is something like import pandas, something like that. I'll explain you. So in your main program, two libraries will be there. One is the class which is you define, another is the library which is Python. And this is your main program. So you are using it every. So you will have a choice. So this is possible. This is one of the library is user defined. This is the library by the Python is given. And along with that, we are doing all the works. What the point?
So the class project here in this case is a Python file, right?
Python file. Exactly. What of the Python file you have? That is the library where you define the bank.
Even
Exactly.
in the
And
real-time scenario, it will be a file
correct,
from where
correct.
class is
Yeah,
written.
correct. Exactly. In a real time, also the similar file. Exactly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. But in a real time, it should not be a single folder rather. So what they will do, they will create a separate folder here, directory, something like that. Okay. So let me create a directory here, and name of the directory say packages. So what I will do, this is your main packages. Okay. Inside that, this class will be there, this file, because that's a package, and main function will be there in this. So there will be two folders in real time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. We'll do it when I'm well do a normal project in Python. That time I'll explain you what should be your folder structure in a real time. There are some other folders also will be there. Packages, util, packages, normal, the main functions, all these things will be there. Okay, but you first concentrate on how to write the class and how to execute. Okay,
Yeah,
make
Samir.
sense?
Yes, Samir. I have a doubt, right? So we can get the input as string, and we will compare here. So can you please do that, because I don't get the output for that program. So getting input as string and compare with one word.
That's the problem. That's the problem we are having, right? We are not able to get it because the input function it will give you n string. So I need to compare this with the string only. Then only I'll
Yeah,
able to get it.
yeah. For string also, I don't get the output. So I just want to know why it's.
That's fine. That's fine. No worries. I will run. Output is not coming. That's fine. I'm not interested on right now the output.
Not in
Okay.
this one, Samir. That's normal in assignment. I just compare two string. One
Now
is
it is coming, right? If I say one, it is saying the create pin. If I run again, if I say two, if I say two, it's saying that your balance in 1,000. Now it is working, right? Because the earlier I was comparing with the integer, but input function is always give you output in a string. That's what it is not coming last time. Now, whatever your question is, we will see that. But
okay,
just
Samir.
follow along right now here the questions and come back tomorrow. We'll see. Thank you, guys.